We've looked at saving trackers and we've looked at spending trackers. Now for all of those money-related spreads that can still help you save money, but don't necessarily fit into either of those categories. Hello again team, it's Jess or JashiiCorrin, and today I'm going to be taking you through some more ideas on money-related spreads you can use in your journal. If you hadn't already seen them and were keen to check out some more money-related videos I have, there's a link to that playlist in the cards above. As I mentioned before, over the past couple of weeks, I've been showing you guys some ideas for savings and spendings trackers, but in today's video, I'm going to be going over a couple of other ideas that can help you save money too. As usual, the equipment I used to set up these pages is linked in the description below, so let's jump in. Our first idea, which I've already spoken about in a bit of detail in a previous video, is this year in pixels style layout here. Each day of this year, I'm colouring in one of these boxes to represent how much money I spent that day on what I deem to be non-essential items. So really that's just spending outside of my regular bills and groceries. So spending on things like doctor's appointments and home maintenance and things like that, I do still include those in this one here. Each of the colours I use represents a different amount of money. So I have purple for no spending at all, through to pink, which is where I've spent over $40 on non-essentials. At the end of the year, this is going to give me a really good impression of my spending habits and how often I was able to not spend unnecessarily. Although I have this set up with 28 days running down the page, you could also have this one set up more like a traditional year in pixels, where each column is a month, or you could set it up more like this one here, which is my Tom tracker, where I have 2 weeks per column, and that might give you a better impression of how your spending changes on a weekly basis. Tracking how much you spend each day can really help you see your spending habits, which can encourage you to work towards spending less. Another layout that can help with this is a list of all the ways you can save money. Having a referenceable log like this of the things that you can do either daily or weekly can help you focus on the how to save money rather than just constantly telling yourself that you need to save money. It's said that big change happens from taking small steps, so having a list of small and achievable things that you can do is one of the ways to better help yourself reach your savings goals. Just as a disclaimer, the things that I've put down on this list are just some of the things I found while searching through the internet. They aren't necessarily things that will work for everyone or that are achievable for everyone. If you're gonna set up a page like this one, please do make sure that the things you're putting down on your list are actually things that you think would help you. So some of the ideas I've put down here, so making a budget, reducing your vices, learning not to impulse buy, not upsizing your meals, that's probably one of my biggest ones, using discounts, vouchers, and sales whenever possible, reducing your groceries to 1 trip a week rather than a bunch of smaller trips, buying in bulk where possible, cooking in bulk and then having leftovers, and as part of that, packing your own lunch, eating less meat and more vegetables, making use of frozen vegetables, which are usually cheaper, shopping on a full stomach and going shopping without any cravings, paying bills on time to avoid any late fees, making sure that you have low interest debts and accounts, shopping around to get items cheaper, and then haggling, which I'm terrible at, cutting down or cutting out any luxury items, getting electronics that are energy efficient, auditing your subscriptions, so making sure that the subscriptions you have you're actually using and are actually worth the money you spend on them, doing DIY and make it yourself gifts, learning the basics of home maintenance, and I spelt maintenance wrong, thus spelling. Service people are really expensive to call out, so if you can make small fixes yourself, it will save you a fair bit. Taking better care of your stuff so then it lasts longer and you don't need to buy new ones. And as part of that, also making sure you're buying quality items wherever possible so they will last longer. Shopping sales for gifts ahead of time, buying things secondhand, wherever possible sharing transport, so either carpooling or taking public transport, selling items that you want to get rid of rather than just throwing them in the bin, taking your own snacks whenever you go out, so whether that be like going to the movies and smuggling in your snacks, or when you're going on road trips or things like that, drinking less, and then, where possible, sharing your accounts and subscriptions with somebody else so you can split the cost. From the list you set up of ways you can save, what you might also want to do is set yourself up a different challenge for each month of the year. On this layout here, I've written down a different challenge for 9 months of the year, and then for 3 months I've given the challenge of sprint. This means that in those months you work as hard as you can to save as much as possible, by doing as many of the things on this list as is actually manageable. What you may also want to do is keep track of how much you save during these sprints, so that each time you do another one, you can try and save even more. Again, the challenges that I've outlined here won't work for everyone, and it's important that you're setting challenges that 1. Actually help you save money, and 2. Will be achievable in the space of a month. So the ones that I selected for here were packing your own lunch for work, no eating out, sprint, saving $20 each week, sprint, no wasting food in June, trying to get your bills lower in July than they were in June, saving on your vices by eliminating them where possible, decluttering and selling unwanted items, sprint, the no spend November challenge, and then saving $2 a day. With these challenges, it's also possible to set up a challenge tracking page like this one here. So this one is for the no spend November challenge, and it has a box for each day of the month that can be colored in when you successfully don't spend on that day. On this one, there's also a space to write out why completing this challenge would be important or would be good for you, and then also a space to write down some strategies that you have to accomplish this. At the end of the 30 days, there's also a space to write down a reward, but it is important that you make sure that when selecting your reward, you're not going to pick something that kind of undoes all the hard work that you just put in saving. While this style in particular works well for the no spend November, where you're trying to do a certain thing each day of the month, for the other challenges outlined on the last page, there might be more suitable trackers to use. So for instance, in the sprint tracker, you might be trying to get to a certain amount of money, so implementing one of the savings trackers from one of my previous videos might be more helpful. In something like the pack your own lunch challenge, you might want to write down what you're having for lunch each day of the month in kind of like a meal tracker or meal planner, so that you're prepared ahead of time. Preparing things ahead of time is probably one of the biggest ways to save money, whether that be saving in advance to pay your bills so that then you don't get late fees, preparing food in advance so you don't have to buy food out, or buying your gifts ahead of rush periods so that you can get the best possible sales. So concludes our money-related bullet journal spread saga, and thank you for watching. If you had any other content you wanted to see from me, please do let me know. This mini-series has been a lot of fun. I'll be back next Sunday with my June plan with me, and so until next time, bye!